I think a lot of guitar players are missing out on actually using the CAGED system. A lot of people learn the CAGED system, but don't actually learn what to do with it. And I think that in a lot of ways, it's overly complicated the way that it's taught. So, you do have these 5 CAGED shapes, but a couple of them are more theoretical than practical. So I'm going to take this song, Fire on the Mountain by the Grateful Dead, and both Jerry and Bob Weir, both Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir, were great at using CAGED shapes in their rhythm guitar playing and really in their soloing as well. But we're just going to talk about it from a rhythm perspective for now. So the song is a simple song. It's just B to A. So I'm going to start out with the B chord and look at the CAGED shapes of the B chord. So here's my B chord. This is the A shape of B because it's based on an A chord. It's, theoretically it would be this full shape. Hardly anybody plays it like that. Most people play it like this. I also could play this little bit of it right here. Then that connects to the G shape. And this is where things start going downhill for most guitar players when they're first working on this CAGED, because this is the G shape. It's based on a G chord that's moved up, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. But that is a much more of a theoretical shape than a practical shape. Like grabbing that in a song would be really difficult. But a lot of people know this shape. Hendrix used to use this a lot. And to me, the A shape and the G shape have a lot of notes in common. So I've got this A shape here, and then those same 3 notes are part of this practical G shape. So to me, the A shape and the G shape, I just think of as one shape emanating from this little piece right here. Okay, then next up's the E shape. Most people know this. This looks like a big E-shaped bar chord, but you can parse this into smaller shapes. So you can play this, which looks like an F chord, the way that a lot of people learn an F chord, but that F chord is still an E shape. It's just part of the overall bar chord shape. It's part of the E shape. But I use that probably more than I use the full bar chord shape. Okay, then next up, wherever my pinky would be for the E shape, that's where the imaginary capo would go for this D shape. But again, that's not practical. That's the theoretical B shape. The practical the theoretical D shape of B. The practical one looks just like a D. I'm just moving this D shape. D, E, F, G, A, B. My root note's right here at the 12th fret of the B string. Another way to kind of find that shape. But that's my practical D, and then that's connected to the C shape. And here's another one that is much more theoretical than practical. So the full C shape would look like this. Whereas this is like my C chord, my cowboy C chord, and my index finger's acting like a capo. So if I take the C chord down here, kind of switch my fingers so that I've got my index finger available, and I move this up here to the note B, my index finger's like a capo. That one is very hard to grab in the middle of a song as well. So I use what I call the practical C shape a lot, which is just these 3 notes. You hear this a lot in Rolling Stones tunes. It's quite a common shape. It's much more common than the full shape, the full C shape. So this C shape is connected right here to this D shape. They share 2 notes in common. So in my mind, the D and C shapes are kind of the same shape. They're located in the same place. They're slightly different shapes, but to me, their location is in the same spot. When you apply the CAGED shapes to scales, It's going to make a little bit of difference whether I call something a D shape or a C shape. But for chords, really, we've got essentially what boils down to 3 shapes now. So I've got the A/G shape. That's here at the 4th fret. I've got the E shape. And then I've got the D/C shape. And then it could repeat 12 frets higher, all the same stuff. Here's the A/G shape. I technically have that E shape way up here, but that's impractical. So this Grateful Dead song, Fire on the Mountain, is 2 chords, B to A. So if here's my B chord, then I just move all those same shapes down 2 frets. Here's my A chord. Here's my G shape of B. Here's my G shape of A. Here's my E shape of B. E shape of A. D shape of B. D shape of A. C shape of B. C shape of A. And there's my A shapes of B and A. So I'm using the same shapes for the B chord and the A chord. They're just 2 frets apart. And the last thing I want to say about this is it's important to be able to visualize the shape without playing the whole shape. So that way you can kind of tear the shape apart into little fragments. So if I take, for instance, this E-shaped bar chord here, well, I already talked about how you can kind of turn that into a sort of an F-shaped chord. But I can really take this and take any 2 or 3 notes of it. Are just little B chord fragments. They're E-shaped fragments of a B chord. So I can use that to create some interesting movement just using one shape. Like those all came out of this big B bar chord shape, but I kind of created a little bit of movement by playing smaller fragments within that. Okay. So now let me just give you a couple of examples. So I'm just going to play to this backing track of Fire on the Mountain. If you want the backing track and the PDF that goes along with this, it's down in the description. You can get it for free. So anyway, here's an example of this. I think learning these cage shapes, especially these practical cage shapes, and putting them to use in your rhythm guitar playing is one of the most important things you could work on. It's going to make rhythm playing more fun, and it's going to make your playing sound more interesting because honestly, we spend more of our time playing rhythm guitar in a song than soloing. So having a lot of rhythmic guitar variations in your back pocket is a great skill to have. I hope you find this useful. Thanks. Follow me for more lessons.